Good morning. This is Pieter The Rock Man. You know what? I'm sharing these things out of the book of Revelation. It's so rich. There's so much in this book. Um, and we are just taking this on step by step. I don't know how long I'm going to sit here, but there's so many things that I want to say. If you want to follow me on a Sunday, we are on YouTube under One Life Church Minneapolis. And you can also follow us on Facebook. I'm preaching on these things on the last days because there's so much confusion in this area. And I'm not saying I have it all together. I'm not saying that I know it all. I just want to give people hope because there is so many people who preaches on this subject. I'm surprised that there is so few grace preachers and finished work preachers that take this on and really look at it from a finished grace perspective, and just realize that Jesus has already done the work. Just realize that Jesus already died, rose from the dead, seated in the right hand of the Father, and that we are included in that. He made us alive with Him. He rose us up together with Him. He made us sit with Him in heavenly places. So we are in that rest. We are in the Sabbath day. We are living there in the rest where we sit down with Him. And I honestly believe that the book of Revelation, there's so much riches in that will take the church to a point of victory and a point of being victorious and glorious, and that the love of the Father, and which the work of the cross, what Jesus did on the cross and the resurrection, is an absolute demonstration of the Father's love, an absolute demonstration of God's grace and mercy. And if we study the book of Revelation from that perspective, or begin to understand the things that happen in that book, or it's being proclaimed in that book, already happened, people will get hope, because most of these teachings that go around as doom and gloom and catastrophes is going to hit the world. The church will escape out of this, and then the other people here will burn in fire, and all kinds of things is going to happen. I just want to say to you that Jesus in Matthew 24 said that there will be rumors of war. There will be trouble in the world. He said it in in John 14, he say, in this world you will have trouble. We have had floods. We have had all kinds of catastrophes that have been happening over 2,000 years after the resurrection, and world wars and things that have happened. And every time, and especially in the last 60, 70 years, I would almost say 100 years, every time that something happened in the world that looks bad, then now this is the Antichrist, or now this is the number of the beast, and now this is some other catastrophe or doom and gloom that they put into the book of Revelation. And here's what you need to understand. The book of Revelation is seen through God's lens, not through man's lens. God show man what is really happening. And we try to take these worldly things and put it in there and put dates and numbers and things to it. And I honestly believe that the church is victorious. Jesus is a man. We are made for the earth. Is there a heaven? Of course there's a heaven. God is in the heavens. Of course there's a spiritual dimension in heaven. Of course, if you die right now, you just walk over into the presence of Jesus and the Father, and you are in another dimension. How these things is going to come together in the future, I don't know. But the way that the people preach it and put fear on people and rob them of hope, and rob them of the true gospel, I don't agree with that. I'm not going for that. I'm sorry. So this week we talk about the dead man in this transformation part. I think this is transformation, post-transformation part 8. Today I'm doing this for this is the 8th little snippet that I'm doing. And we are talking about where Jesus appeared to John on Patmos. I want to say to you that the word Patmos really means my killing. So this is where it was, my killing. And it was on the day of the Lord. And what is interesting is he heard a voice behind him. And that speaks of something that happened in his past. God is speaking out of the past. And he turned around to hear this voice. And then he saw Jesus in his glory. And that is our identity too. We are, if we come to the understanding of how we look in the Spirit, and that's our identity in the Spirit. I want to just bring something very awesome to you here this morning that you need to keep in mind when we talk about transformation. Remember, Jesus was a man on the earth. He was the Son of Man. He was the Son of God. He was born from a woman on this earth. But when him and James and John and Peter went up the mountain, he was a man that where Moses and Elijah appeared unto him, and a cloud overtake them, and Jesus transformed. In other words, his spirit man began to shine through, and his spirit man began to manifest right in their presence there. And the Father said, "This is my beloved Son. Hear him. You don't hear Moses and Elijah anymore. That's old covenant. It's over and done. Hear him." But why I'm saying this is that right as Jesus was a man and the spirit man appeared through him, I want to say to you, we have that same glorious image inside of us, and that's how you have to see that your physical body is a temple. It is the tent, and that's why Peter said, "You break down my tent, I'm a building in God." So here he appeared to him. We talk about the image of Jesus now. We've talked about the different parts. But today we are at this place where he say, "And I saw him, and I fell at his feet as a dead man. And he lay his hand on my shoulder, and he lay his right hand on me, saying to me, 'Do not be afraid. I am the first and the last.'" Now, before we go on here, I want to say to you something that is really important, that you need to understand about what the book of Revelation is all about. There is a verse in Revelation 1-3. This is what he say there. He say, "The testimony of Jesus Christ to all the things that he saw." This is John, the things that he saw. "Blessed is he who reads and those who hear the words of the prophecy." So the testimony of Jesus and the prophecy of Jesus. In Revelation 19:10, he say, "The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy." Now, that word testimony is the word in the Greek martyria or martyrion, where the word martyr comes from. But it literally means the one who bears witness to his death. That's why Jesus say in Acts 1 to his disciples, he say to them, "You will be my witnesses to the end of the earth." It's the same word, martyrion. You will give testimony to the one who died, or we will bear witness to his death. So the whole prophecy in the book of Revelation is a witness of his death. It's a witness of Jesus dying, overcoming the Adamic nature, overcoming the law and the requirements that was against us, overcoming death. He took our death, he died, and he rose from the dead. We are living in the resurrection life right now. The same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead is dwelling in us. We are resurrected beings. So he heard a voice behind him. That means we have to understand that we need to view our death in the past, because there's one thing that you need to understand is that when he saw him, he fell as a dead man. And I think what was maybe going on in the context also was maybe John was looking to the future for a change or a future transformation. I don't know. But when he saw the image of Jesus, he died. And this is what I want to say to you. When we come to the revelation of Christ in us, you can't die yourself. You can't try to die. The only way that we can die to self is when we have the revelation of Christ in us. And this is when we really can say, like Paul, "I'm crucified with Christ. It's not I that live anymore." Why could he say that? Because he had a revelation of Jesus twice in his life. The first time when he was on his way to Patmos, and the second time too when he was in Arabia. He had a revelation of Christ, and he had a revelation of Christ in him. That's why he made the statement in Colossians 1:26 and 27, where he say that the mystery that was hidden for ages, but now being revealed to the saints, Christ in us, the hope of glory. That's the revelation. And when we get that revelation, this is when we walk away from the Adamic nature. And I want to say to you, this is a huge paradigm shift in the mind of the believer. To walk away from trying to become something and understand that it is already done 2,000 years ago. And that's how the Father view you. The Father view you as being made alive. He view you as dead. You are a new creation. He view the Adamic nature as dead. He viewed that you have been freed from all those things that brought death in your life. You've been made alive, risen from the dead, seated on the right hand of the Father. So this is what I want to encourage you with when I talk about the dead man, is that when we get the revelation of Christ in us, all those things that we have struggled about with in our lives automatically just disappear. It just die away. So I want to keep on encouraging you with this during the week. God bless you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your prayers. God is good all the time. See you tomorrow.